Hey everyone. So we're starting up some box kits again. It's that time of year, it's fall, y'all. So we're gonna try to do some holiday themed box kits coming up. So this will be our answer for the fall box kit. We'll try to have maybe one more fall and a couple of Christmas ones too, or holiday. Our first one we're doing this year is called the Scarecrow head. And my wife Ursula already did a beautiful one, so I'll show it to the camera. So this will be a different clay than you're going to use. You'll use a brown clay, which will look a little more close to what you think a scarecrow would look like. She's going to have to paint hers a little more. So we're going to set that aside. And we'll just follow along with the directions on mine that she printed. So in your box, you're going to have a ball of clay. It's 2.5 or 3 pounds, somewhere in that range. You're going to have a wooden needle tool, a wooden knife, a bag of random pasta, and a straw. You'll have a rolling pin. It won't look like this, but it'll be a small rolling pin of some sort. You can use that one or one of your own from home. And that's it. You'll need a piece of paper. I've got my handy KUB placard that I'll be using for mine, but you can cut out any size. You'll see on the instructions, and we'll walk through it. So the first thing we need to do is we have to take our ball of clay and we have to make it into a flat piece, like a slab. So that's the first thing I'm going to do. So I can bang this down with my hand, kind of flat. That way I don't have to work so hard with the rolling pin. Flip it over. Use your fist. You can use the rolling pin itself to bang it down. So whatever it takes to get it down. Sorry, it's loud. So we'll start rolling that. When you roll different directions. That helps the clay be strong, but it also makes it roll in the direction you want. And we're trying to get a rectangle. My first rectangle is this, so I'm kind of measuring as I go. This over. Like it says on the page, if it starts sticking for you, you can use a little cornstarch or flour. It's not going to hurt your clay, and it won't show up, won't be a color or anything like that. So we're trying to roll between 1/4 and 1/2 inch. And I know that's, whatever, but if you take your pinky and you set it next to it, if you get, a little thinner than your pinky or around the same size as your pinky, you're probably at the height. That's probably about right. So let's check where we are. I'm about there. So I've got my slab. I've got it says start rolling your cloud as smooth as possible. And then you need a piece of paper that you cut into a rectangle shape. So this rectangle shape should be at least the size, that you can fit into your box when we take it back to fire. So not too big. This one's standard big postcard, so it's, I don't know, I have to look at it. So 8 or 9 inches long, probably 5 inches wide, somewhere in that range. So you can go a little bigger than that, but not much. Alright, so I'm going to set that down on top of the slab. Then I'm going to cut. I'm going to use the knife. You can use a little water if you want, but you don't have to. And cut out the shape. Remember, this is a scarecrow, so it doesn't have to be perfect. They're not perfectly rectangular at all times, and they have rough edges all over the place. So alright, so we've got our rectangle cut out. It's a nice flat rectangle shape. That's going to be the face of our scarecrow. I've got my pieces over here. You can ball them up, or you can kind of keep them like this because you might want them already flat. But either way, you can roll them back out as you go. It just depends on how neat and tidy you are. Alright, so that's number 3. Number 4, alright, it says using a piece of paper as your guide, make lines down your slab with your tool. So when we're looking at the example, you see we have lines down, okay? So what that's gonna do is it's making, you know, look like straw, you know, the straw of a scarecrow. So with our little needle tool, I'm gonna make lines, and like it says, don't go too deep, because that will try to cut your clay. So I'm just basically drawing, okay? I'm not trying to cut into. I just want it to be, you know, lines. And my lines are going to be, I'm trying to do them a little off on purpose, but you can do yours perfectly spaced and straight if you want. But I think mine, I want mine to be a little off. But it's your scarecrow, so you do what you want. Enjoy. Whole point of this is to have fun. Alright, I got one more. Alright, so I think you can see that on the video. So I've got my lines. They're not too deep, they're just enough so I can see and know that they're there. Let's see. Do not cut all the way through. Good. Number 5, take excess clay and roll into a ball and make it long enough for the brim of the hat. Okay, so what we're talking about here, we're showing this line, this piece of clay going across that separates this and makes this look like a hat. Some people might want to not have lines up here, so you know that way it's different than the bottom. I might do that with mine. I'll show you how in a minute. So I've already got a couple pieces here that would probably work for that. And that's what I was saying. You can hold on. So I'm going to use that piece. So I'm going to kind of measure. Alright. So I'm just going to cut this out. You can be very particular with this, or you can be very loosey-goosey. I'm going to be loose-ish. So I'm going to cut it into somewhat nice rectangle. Okay, so this guy, just kind of set it on there. You want it to, you know, you can be straight with it, but it's kind of more fun to make it at an angle so it looks like, you know, he's got his hat on sideways. All right, so that's there. We can't just leave it there like that. We have to do a thing called slip and score or scratch and attach. So you'll need a little bit of water. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna mark where this goes, just kind of so I don't forget, and so I can do the right scratches. So with that, we have to scratch the back. So I'm making a bunch of big X's, doing some pretty decent cutting in of this. Just don't cut through, but you know, rough it up. Okay, so rough that up, and then wherever it's going to be on the face itself, I'm doing the same thing. Don't worry, that's not going to show. So I'm scratching that. Okay, what this is going to do is it's going to make sure this brim of the hat attaches to the face. Okay, so I'm doing a little water on here. You can use your finger for this. I just happen to have a sponge. Okay, and now I'm going to take this and press it down. Kind of smooth it. Okay, so see that we've got the brim of our hat is on the face. Okay, like I said before, with that I want my hat to look a little different as far as texture than my than the face, and so I'm going to kind of erase the lines a little bit. So I'm just taking my finger and kind of smooshing through those so the hat looks a little different. I'm even going to rough it up a little bit on the edges, like squish squish, like a squishy hat. So have fun with this. This is your piece. Squish squish squish. Alright, so you see that on the video mostly. Cool. I'll hold it up at the end so we can get a good look at it. Alright, so I've got a hat with a brim, and I've got a blank face right now. So now we have to decide, you know, this is going to be up to you at this point. Scarecrows have all kinds of stuff. They have a funny face, a happy face, a sad face. That could be anything, so you know, that's up to you. They have flowers, they have, you know, jewelry in some way, they have a nose or no nose, you know, it's going to be totally up to you. I'm going to show you Ursula's one more time, then I'm going to make mine and we'll go from there. Alright, so Ursula's has a kind of a smiley face that looks like barbed wire. That's fun. I'll probably do something similar to that. Has a triangle nose and some droopy eyes with eye holes in them. And then she, with the pasta, you see that, made some impress pieces to make flowers and put up in the hat. And we'll definitely make a flower for our hat too. Alright, so first I'm going to make some eyes. Her eyes are droopy. I'm going to make my eyes kind of square-ish, but not perfectly square. So, see what kind of pieces I have here. That looks like a good eye. See that? So with an eye, you know, you can use your tool, or now we can start getting our pasta out. I'll use some of this. So I'm going to use this guy. And I'm going to make an eyeball, or where his eye is in this piece. So just by pushing that in a little bit. So made an eye. So I'm just going to set it on there for now, but I got to remember I got to actually attach it once we're done. Okay, the other eye. Let's make it this one. So I'm just cutting out of our slabs. If you need to re-roll some, that's fine. So again, I'm going to press this in. Let's see. Here. So eye number 2. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make the whole face, and then I'm going to attach them all. Now I've got a couple things here that would already be a good nose, so I'm actually going to use one of these because I like it. It's a nice triangle with a funky edge, and I'm going to actually embellish the edge. I'm going to push in and make it bumpy. See, I'm making it bumpy. Alright, so now he's got a triangle bumpy nose. I'm going to make nostrils. Sweet. Alright, so I just did some impression with the pasta for nostrils. Alright, she drew in the face, or she drew in the mouth, so I'm going to do that too. So she kind of sketched it out with that thing. I'm just going to kind of push it in like we've been doing. So I'm going to take our knife, it has little serrated edges, and push that in. You can't really see it well in the video, but I'll pick it up in the end and show you. So he's a little funky, which is good. I don't mind that. Alright, so now I have to attach these pieces. So I'm going to take out our needle tool and scratch the back. And scratch where it goes. Use a little water and get to it. Push that down. Try not to mess my eye up. Okay. Eye number 2. Same principle. Where's it go? Some water. Push that down. Alright, so I got the eyes on, now I get the nose. Scratch there, scratch here. Some water. Alright, water, and attach. I'm going to pick this up so I can show you. Hopefully it won't mess up. Alright, so far, that's our funky, fresh Scarecrow. Okay. Let's see if I have a board I can use. decorate. So think about a flower. So I'm going to use, Ursula had a good one for hers I liked. So she took the penne pasta. Ask your parents, try to figure out which one it is if they can do it. And I'll use the wagon wheel. Alright, it's a weird one. So with this piece of clay, I'm going to make an indentation with the wagon wheel. Just an indentation. A little more. And then I'm going to radiate around the wagon wheel the spokes, basically, or the petals of the flower. Your flower can look however you want. If you want a flower, if you don't want a flower, that's fine. I think the Wizard of Oz has a flower in his hair or his hat, but I'm not sure. My wife would know better. Now I'm going to cut out our flower. Cut it out roughly. Now I'm gonna cut out the petals a little bit. I think my Scarecrow has probably been in the field too long, so he's a little funky. That's fun. There's my fancy flower. Now I'm going to attach it to the brim of the hat. Right there, I think. Or do I want it down here? Which way looks better? I like it up top. Alright, so remember we have to scratch whenever we want to attach something. Got my wooden needle tool, toothpick, scratch the back of the flower. Scratch where it goes. Some water. Push that down without messing it up. Alright, so there's, anything you can put on there. So you can scratch in some ears or weird eyeball stuff. So you can add in a poke here. You can put cheeks or like a rosy cheek with a circle on there. You can make the hat a little different than what we did. There's any number of possibilities. This is fun. Have fun with it. One thing you can do if you want this to be hangable, is you might want to have your parents help you with this. For mine, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that round pasta shell, okay, the bigger one, and I'm going to poke a hole in the top, and I'm going to show you in a second. So about a ½ inch down from the top. You can't be too close. I'm going to poke down all the way through. Okay. Turn it a little bit and then pull it out. And that clay is going to be stuck in the end of the pasta, so it's the last thing I'm doing. And then what it looks like. Okay, see the hole? And that's going to allow us to, put a screw or a nail on a wall and hang this. So that's totally up to you. It doesn't have to be a hangable thing, but mine's going to be. One fun thing we're going to do is you can pick the hat color for the piece. So, or you can make the whole thing one color. So we'll figure out a way to put that on the site and let you know, and we'll hopefully see a bunch of fun scarecrows. Thank you so much, guys. Follow along at home. You print that out. Hopefully we'll have some more holiday kits coming up. Thank you.